No one expected the skies over New Geneva to open that day. The Interplanetary Council Hall was filled with delegates from 100 worlds, each draped in silks, metals, and holographic insignias that shimmered with planetary pride. The air hummed with low conversation, the faint clink of crystal glasses, and the almost smug assurance that humanity, after centuries of war and chaos, had finally become the center of the galaxy's civilization. I was there only as an interpreter. My badge read Linguistic Liaison, Earth Sector. My name Elias Wren. Nobody important. I'd been hired to translate archaic trade dialects for the Terran delegation. My role was quiet, invisible, like the cables that hold up a starship but are never seen. That changed when the alarms began to sound. A deep hum reverberated through the glass dome above us. Every delegate froze. A shadow fell across the ceiling, blotting out the pale light of Jupiter's reflected sun. Then, in one impossible instant, the air folded in on itself. A ship appeared, sleek, black, organic in design, like a living creature that had decided to mimic technology. The hall's defensive drones swarmed, their red targeting beams converging on the new arrival. But before any could fire, the ship released a pulse. Soft, blue, almost gentle. The drones powered down instantly, drifting to the marble floor like feathers. And then, the door opened. A figure stepped through the blue light, and for the first time in recorded galactic history, the council fell silent. She was tall, nearly 3 meters, and draped in living armor that shimmered like the surface of deep water. Her skin was luminous, silver with streaks of violet that moved beneath like liquid lightning. Her eyes were entirely black, twin abysses that seemed to pull at you if you stared too long. And though she wore no crown, every being in the hall somehow knew who she was. The alien queen of Zelithra. The being whose people had annihilated 3 fleets in a single battle. The same who had refused all communication with the council for decades. The same who had sworn never to set foot on human soil. Till now. She walked into the hall as though it were hers. Her soldiers, sleek creatures with glassy carapaces and faintly glowing veins, lined the perimeter. Every step she took echoed like thunder across the silence. When she reached the center of the hall, she stopped. Her gaze swept across the assembly, lingering briefly on each delegation. Martian, Venerian, Jovian, and more. Then her eyes found me. And she pointed. "I came for him," she said. Her voice wasn't sound, it was vibration resonating directly inside my skull. 1,000 whispers rippled through the hall. The Terran ambassador turned pale. "Him," he stammered. "He's no one, just a translator." But she didn't look away. "Elias Wren, son of no house, beaker of dead tongues. He will come with me." I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. Every instinct screamed to run, but my body refused to obey. The queen's gaze pinned me where I stood like a butterfly beneath glass. And then, without waiting for permission, she turned and began walking back toward her ship. The council guards raised their weapons. "Ma'am, you can't." The queen didn't even gesture. The guards' weapons melted in their hands. She looked back once more, eyes locking onto mine. "Come, Elias Wren. The tides of memory have chosen you." And somehow I followed. To the abduction. The inside of her ship felt alive. The walls pulsed softly, as though breathing. Bioluminescent veins traced along the corridors, casting everything in an eerie indigo glow. I stumbled behind her, too stunned to ask where we were going. When I finally found my voice, it came out trembling. "Why me? You carry something that belongs to us," she said without turning. "Something ancient. Buried. I don't understand." "You will." She led me into a circular chamber. The floor was translucent, revealing what looked like rivers of light flowing beneath, a living nervous system stretching throughout the ship. In the center stood a pedestal, and above it, suspended in midair, hovered a crystalline sphere. Within it swirled galaxies, tiny, perfect, spinning in miniature. "This," she said, "is the core of remembrance. It holds the memories of my people, the entire lineage of the Zelathran consciousness. And it is dying." She touched the sphere gently. The galaxies inside flickered. "We have traced the decay to a single absence, a missing frequency. That frequency exists only within one mind." She turned her gaze back to me. "Yours." I laughed, or tried to. "You've made a mistake. I'm human. I don't even remember what I ate for breakfast." Her expression softened, not with kindness, but with something like sorrow. "Your body is human. Your mind less so." And then, with no further warning, the ship leapt into motion. Stars stretched into lines as we entered faster-than-light transit. My stomach lurched. "You can't just take me," I shouted, gripping the railing. "I can," she replied simply. "And I must. You are the last fragment of a bridge long burned." 3. The Awakening. Days or maybe weeks passed. Time lost meaning aboard the living ship. The Queen seldom spoke, but when she did, her words carried weight like gravity. Through brief conversations I learned fragments. Long ago, before human civilization had even tamed fire, another species had visited Earth. The Zelathrans. They hadn't come as conquerors but as researchers, seeking to seed the galaxy with life capable of carrying their genetic resonance. Humanity, it seemed, was one of their many experiments. "We gave your kind the spark of language," she told me once, as I floated beside her in the ship's observation chamber. "You learned to name the stars before you ever reached them. That was our gift. But one of your ancestors was different. He carried the pattern within him. He merged our essence with your evolution. And that bloodline ends with you." The words rattled inside me like loose metal. "You're saying I'm what, a hybrid?" "Not in flesh. In echo." Whatever that meant, she refused to explain. Instead, she subjected me to tests. Strange, non-invasive rituals where light entered my mind and memories I didn't recognize flickered behind my eyelids. Cities of glass under red suns. Voices that weren't mine. A feeling of belonging to something vast, collective, endless. Sometimes when I awoke she was there, watching, silent. Other times, I sensed her presence even when she wasn't. The ship itself seemed to hum to my heartbeat. And then came the night of the storm. We had entered orbit around a dying star, its surface boiling with magnetic fury. The Queen stood at the viewport, motionless. "The core weakens," she said. "If we cannot restore the missing pattern, my people will lose themselves forever." "What do you expect me to do?" I asked, voice shaking. "Remember," she said simply. "All you must do is remember." For the descent, she led me into the heart of the ship, a chamber that felt like the inside of a massive creature's ribcage. The core of remembrance hovered there, its light now dim. She gestured to a crystalline platform. "Lie down." I hesitated. "And if I refuse?" She tilted her head. "Then you too will fade. The bond cannot remain dormant any longer." The ship trembled around us, as if in agreement. "Lay down." The Queen placed her hands on either side of my head. Her palms were cool, almost electric. "Do not resist," she whispered. "Let the river take you." And then flash. The chamber dissolved. Suddenly, I was standing on an alien world under twin suns. The air was thick and golden. Before me stretched a city of impossible beauty, towers of crystal connected by bridges of living light. I knew this place, though I'd never seen it. Voices surrounded me, singing in a language that felt both strange and familiar. The chorus of memory, a thought whispered. The collective. I saw flashes, millennia of history. The rise of the Zelathrans, their mastery of consciousness, their decision to spread their essence across the stars. And then the great fracture. A war within their own kind. Those who sought unity and those who sought individuality. The conflict shattered their shared memory. Half their race vanished into the void, taking the original core with them. And one of them, one of us, fled to a distant blue planet, Earth. I saw him now. A being who wore human skin, who taught early tribes the first symbols, the first stories, the first lies. He hid the last fragment of the core within his own lineage, hoping it would one day be reborn. His eyes, silver like the queen's, looked directly at me. "You are my echo," he said. "You are the key." The choice. When I awoke, I was no longer human. At least not entirely. My veins glowed faintly with blue light. My mind pulsed with alien memory. The queen stood before me, eyes wide, not with dominance but awe. "It is true," she whispered. "The pattern lives. What happens now?" "Yes. You restore us. The core awaits your resonance." I approached the sphere. It pulsed weakly, as if sensing me. When I placed my hands on its surface, warmth surged through my body. My mind filled with voices, millions of them, whispering, pleading, remembering. I felt everything. Births, deaths, loves, losses. All across centuries and galaxies. It was overwhelming, beautiful, terrifying. "Join with it," she urged. "Complete the bridge." But as the connection deepened, I sensed something else. Buried within the core was a shadow, an intelligence ancient and cruel, waiting to be unleashed. "This isn't just memory," I gasped. "It's a will." The queen's expression hardened. "It is the soul of my people. It's control," I said. "It will overwrite everything. Me, humanity, maybe even you." She stepped closer. "That is the price of survival. We are fading. You can save us. By erasing myself. By becoming more than yourself." The sphere pulsed brighter, calling to me. My thoughts began to unravel into threads of light. I felt the boundary of my identity blur. Elias Wren, human translator. Fading. Something vaster taking shape. I could see it now. If I completed the connection, the Zelathrans would be reborn, but their consciousness would flood across every living mind connected to me. Humanity would not survive unchanged. If I broke the link, the core would die, and with it an entire civilization. The choice was mine. The queen knelt before me, lowering her head. "Please," she said softly, "do not let my people fade into silence." Her voice trembled for the first time. And I saw something in her eyes, fear. Loneliness. Hope. The same things that made us human. 6. The decision. I stood in silence for what felt like an eternity, staring at the glowing core. My reflection in its surface was split, half human, half alien light. If I joined, I'd become something divine. If I refused, I'd doom an empire. But there had to be another way. "You said the bridge was burned," I whispered. "Maybe it doesn't have to be rebuilt the same way." "What do you mean?" she asked. "Not dominance. Not assimilation. Harmony." I reached into the core again, but this time I didn't surrender. Shared. I opened my mind not as a vessel but as a mirror. I offered the core the essence of humanity, our chaos, our creativity, our imperfection. The light flared. The ship shook violently. The queen cried out, What are you doing? Giving you what we gave ourselves, I said. Choice. The core exploded in light, pure, blinding white that filled every cell of my being. I heard her scream and then silence. 7. The aftermath. When I awoke, I was lying on a quiet shore beneath a lavender sky. The ship was gone. The Queen was gone. Only the faint hum of the sea remained. But when I looked into the water, I saw her reflection beside mine. Where are we? Yes. Between worlds, she said. Her voice was inside my head, gentle now. The core has remade itself. We are both its vessels. I looked at her. She seemed smaller, more human, her features softer, her eyes less abyssal. Did it work? She smiled faintly. The Zelithrans live. But not as they were. They are part of the great chorus now. Connected yet free. And me. You are the bridge. The one who remembered. The sky rippled. Stars shifted. She stepped closer, her hand hovering just above mine. When I entered your hall, she said quietly, I came for what was lost. I did not know I would find something greater. What's that? Yes. Understanding. The light around her began to fade. Our paths diverge here. But know this, Elias Wren. Humanity will never again be alone among the stars. And with that, she was gone, her form dissolving into the wind like stardust. 8. The return. I woke up in the council hall, lying on the cold marble floor. The delegates surrounded me, murmuring in confusion. The alien ship was gone. No sign of the Queen, no trace of her army. The Terran ambassador leaned over me. Wren, what happened? Where did she take you? I looked up at the glass dome. Outside, stars burned brighter than I had ever seen. She didn't take me, I said softly. She showed me. Showed you what? I smiled faintly. That the silence between worlds isn't emptiness. It's waiting. And as I stood, I realized I could still hear her voice. Faint, distant, like an echo across the cosmos. Remember, Bridgekeeper. Every word you speak now shapes two worlds. 9. Epilogue. Years later, when humanity made its first contact with the reborn Zelithran colonies, the ambassadors reported something strange. The alien emissaries spoke fluent Terran standard. They greeted humans not as inferiors, but as kin. And every one of them carried the same mark. A faint blue glow beneath the skin, pulsing softly with the rhythm of life. Just like mine. When the alien queen entered, the hall had fallen silent. But in that silence, a new language was born. And it began with 6 words that would change everything. I came for him.